What's up, guys? I know I've been uploading a lot of Masha videos recently, especially right after the update and season ended. As you already know, I've been grinding for top global and I can't really play other heroes if I want to achieve that. I need to spam Masha as a solo player, which can be a bit difficult. Maybe some of you are getting tired of it too, since I noticed my recent Masha videos are getting fewer views, or maybe that's just YouTube's fault. But here I am again, using Masha as a roamer. I don't really recommend her in the EXP lane right now. I recommend her more as a roamer. The EXP lane is filled with sustain heroes, and in almost all of my games, the EXP lane matchup is sustain. A lot of players are using them now, and it's rare to see damage-type EXP laners where Masha would have an advantage. Masha struggles against meta EXP laners in the early to mid-game, so you'll have to rely on your team not to fall behind or feed the enemy until the game reaches late game, where Masha can keep up with anyone. And please don't compare Masha with other damage-type EXP laners like Saber. Masha is different. She can tank damage because of her 3 HP bars even when she goes full damage build. The only damage roamer who can do that. That's why she's perfect for disrupting the enemy jungler early game, since she's also difficult to burst down thanks to her 3 HP bars. But again, if you're not that used to Masha yet, I agree with some comments saying you should only use her as a roamer when your team already has at least one frontline who can't set up plays and soak up enemy damage, whether that's a utility jungler or a sustain EXP laner. Like I said, it's better to leave the EXP lane to sustain heroes this time. Since the minion gold has been reduced, it now takes longer for Masha to get her items in the EXP lane, and as we know, Masha really needs items and shines more in the late game. She needs gold more than experience. As a roamer, it's now easier to get items and level up. Actually, it's pretty common now for a roamer to match the gold of your jungler or gold laner, as long as you maximize the passive of the roam blessing. In most of my games, I even end up being the richest player, which never used to happen before as a roamer. Plus, every day you have star protection when you roam. I almost died here, but I missed using my secret recall technique, so I pulled it off right here. If you don't want damage-type roamers, there are still a lot of good roamers right now like Khalid, Grok, Glue, and Hilda. But in the late game, you'll be relying on your marksman or jungler. If you're fine with that, then don't use damage-type roamers. But if your marksman happens to be a Hanabi, Layla, or Mia main, you better think twice. Because there's only about a 10% chance they'll carry the game for you, no matter how well you played as a roamer. No matter how much space you gave them, they will never fail to disappoint you at the end of the game. Haters think that when you play damage roamers, it's just because you want to be the star and carry every game. What the heck? If someone could carry me every single game no matter how heavy I played, that would actually be better. I'd still win without stressing myself. But the thing is, that doesn't happen in solo queue. I use damage-type roamers not because I want to carry every game, but because I don't want to rely on my teammates every single time. If I just relied on them and kept using tank roamers, I'd probably still be stuck in legend rank right now. And don't compare me to other damage roamer users who only go for kills, don't push, and don't join team fights. You guys leave comments and hate on my videos just because of those kinds of players. You don't even watch the whole video to understand my point. When I play damage roamers, I always go after the squishy heroes like the marksman or mage. Most of the time, I even sacrifice myself just to take one of them down, considering I'm just a roamer. And even if I die, it's not just about killing my target. I also burn major skills and battle spells from the enemy, which makes it even more worth it. Like in this part, do you think any other roamer could pull this off? Only Masha can. That should have been a solo savage, and I even secured the Lord. Moments like this always happen whenever I play Masha, and that's why I love using her. Every game, I learn something new, but still. What a shame I didn't get the savage there. But I actually had another opportunity here to get a savage because everything lined up perfectly again in this part. Still, I just couldn't secure my first savage this season. And since my rank keeps going higher, it's only getting harder and harder to pull one off. So yeah, we won this game, and I can say my mastery of Masha was the biggest factor why we pulled it off. Without enough mastery, it wouldn't have been this easy to win. So if you're losing games with Masha, Don't think she's a weak hero. You probably just need more practice. You can already see her full potential in my videos and how strong she really is for solo ranked games. For those asking which roaming blessing is better for Masha, Dire Hit, or Encourage, well, for me, Encourage is definitely better. Dire Hit is pretty useless when you're alone since it doesn't even work on yourself. If it did, then maybe it would have been fine. But Masha can already burst enemies down without needing her teammates, so you'll barely get value from Dire Hit. With Encourage, on the other hand, your teammates' damage also increases, and you can even get assists without doing anything, just by being near them. How can you hate on this kind of damage roamer when I'm always killing enemies easily? The ones complaining are usually the same people blaming their teammates, saying they only go for kills, when in reality, they're the ones feeding and dying non-stop. So which do you think is worse? Someone who gets all the kills, or someone who racks up all the deaths? Maybe take a look at yourselves first before you start trash talking. And don't act like kills don't matter. Kills create huge space for the team. But don't get me wrong, I'm not that type of player who only knows how to get kills. I'm not saying it's always right to play that way, but I'm pretty sure it's still better than being the one who only feeds and trash talks. Victory! Also, you should consider what heroes your teammates are using before you flame them. For example, you'll blame a Saber who's just waiting for the right timing, then complain he's not frontlining. Like, just because he's a roamer doesn't mean he's a tank. It's natural for assassins to focus on killing enemies, yet you still get mad at them for doing the exact job they're supposed to do. But again, I'm not that kind of player. I also love pushing and playing for objectives. The thing is, most of the time you need to kill the enemies first before you can push turrets and secure objectives, right? Yet despite that, your feeder teammates will still end up blaming you. In this game, our EXP laner was Yujin. Even during the draft, some of my teammates were already complaining that they didn't want an EXP lane Yujin. But I said, just let him use it. Maybe that's the only hero he knows. If we lose because of him, then that's the time you can blame him. Since Masha doesn't have a blink, I really take advantage of the Cyclone Eye. I always use it to instantly close the gap on enemies, and most of the time, it really works. Look at how much damage I'm dealing here, even though I'm only level 8. Then I decided to mess around with Franco here. Actually, it's not just about that. I want you guys, especially the new viewers, to know that Masha can dodge skills with her 4th skill. And that's really important to keep in mind, because sometimes that can be the winning play. Some people say Masha is bad because once you dive in, you can't get out anymore. But that's why Masha isn't for players who are scared to die or don't have the guts. Because when you go in, it should always be either you kill them, force them to run away, or you die. Don't expect to escape after diving. If you're afraid of dying, don't use Masha. And don't say she's not good just because of how you play her. You need to be ready to sacrifice yourself when you dive in. That's always my mindset. Don't think about escaping. Think about whether you can take someone down before you die. If you kill their marksman or jungler, then it's worth it. That's how I always play. You go big or you go home. And saying that diving into 4 or 5 enemies and not being able to escape makes Masha bad is completely nonsense. I mean, what kind of dumb player would dive into a whole group of enemies and still expect to get out alive?